The Vivo X300 Ultra, a flagship device many people have been eagerly waiting for, has finally arrived, and this is the top-tier photographer's kit version. Let's dive straight into the unboxing. Alright, here it is in hand. The first thing you notice is the massive packaging box sealed at the bottom with a one-time sticker, which even adds a bit of collectible appeal. As we slowly open it up, the phone sits neatly on the side, and wow, right away you can see it's protected with a grip and 2 extension clips. It honestly feels like unboxing a camera with extra lenses, giving the whole experience a premium, ceremonial vibe. Now picking up the kit bag, you'll notice 4 seals along with a Zeiss co-developed blue badge. Opening the leather textured box feels really unique and refined. The phone itself isn't overly heavy when you first hold it. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. Inside, the cable supports high voltage 9.2 AT transfer, so it's noticeably thicker than a standard cable and measures about 99 centimeters in length. The charger uses a Type-C interface for broader compatibility and supports 100-watt Vivo flash charge at 20-volt 5A. Now, let's focus on the main device. At first glance, you can tell this phone is slightly wider rather than tall and slim. It follows a typical flagship design language with slightly rounded corners. The display has almost no curvature along the edges, giving it a very solid and rugged look from the front. The pre-applied screen protector even has a small cutout. Looking at the sides, there's a silver metal frame that adds to the sturdy feel. The antenna lines are symmetrically placed, with an extra one on the right. At the bottom, the cutouts are neatly aligned, one for the microphone and the other for the SIM tray. The speakers are positioned symmetrically at the top and bottom as well. Turning to the back, it looks simple at first under light and dust, but once we switch to a more natural lighting setup, design really comes alive. This is officially called the Silver Edition. Under closer inspection, the back panel has a layered texture that resembles mountain landscapes, perfectly matching the phone's photography-focused theme. Below that, there's a subtle patchwork design with a slim logo. The texture doesn't feel grainy, but visually it adds depth. Around the camera module, there's a clean white accent ring that looks very refined. The side detailing is especially interesting. The area where your hand naturally rests has a fine horizontal texture similar to the grip of a camera lens ring. Around it, you'll even find markings that resemble actual lens parameters. Holding it gives you that familiar feel of compact pancake lenses from classic SLR cameras. Portable, simple, and practical. Next to that, there's a triple LED setup with multicolor temperature support. From the side view, you can clearly see how much the camera module protrudes. It's quite prominent, which makes sense for a flagship focused on imaging. Alongside silver and black, there's also a green version available. If you prefer a fresher two-tone look, the green might be your pick. Now, moving on to the camera system, you'll immediately spot the iconic Zeiss blue logo along with the TSAR coating, signature elements of Vivo's imaging partnership. The triple camera setup covers a wide range of focal lengths, and each lens features a large aperture. If we compare it to the previous X200 flagship, you'll notice differences in how the camera module and lower section are designed. Both look great in their own way, but they clearly follow different design approaches. The older model had a more curved back and front, giving it a softer, rounded feel. In contrast, this new generation goes for an almost completely flat display, making it look sharper and more angular. It really comes down to personal preference. In terms of weight, the previous model was around 234.9 grams, while this one comes in at 242 grams, slightly heavier, clearly leaning more toward professional use. Finally, let's check out the included protective case. It tones down the overall look a bit while improving grip and usability. Now let's power it on. As the display lights up, you're greeted with the default wallpaper. The front camera uses a centered punch hole design, and the bezels are evenly sized on all sides, giving you a good sense of the screen-to-body ratio. The display itself is quite standard in layout, but offers solid customization. You get 2 resolution options: 3168-1440 and 2772-1260. The refresh rate can switch between 60 Hz and 144 Hz, and you can even adjust it per app. If you want to save battery, you can choose intermediate options like 90 Hz or 120 Hz. The stereo speakers deliver sound through the frame, and perform quite well. The fingerprint sensor placement is comfortable, not too low, so it's easy to unlock with one hand. Thanks to ultrasonic technology, you don't need to tap repeatedly. Just slide your finger slightly and it registers quickly, which is a big upgrade over traditional methods. Opening the camera app, you'll see the new image mode where all tools are integrated for quick access and easy customization. You can adjust zoom levels based on your shooting style, like setting it to 35mm or even 170mm. Most users will probably stick to 1x, 2x, or 3x zoom for everyday photography. One standout feature is the 35mm main camera, which is considered a golden focal length for portraits. It's great for capturing people, though not as ideal for wide landscapes. So for that, switching to the ultra-wide lens makes more sense. There's also a dedicated portrait video mode that helps create background blur, along with telephoto and stage modes for more specialized shooting. Looking ahead, it wouldn't be surprising if more concert photographers start using Vivo's flagship devices for professional work, especially with features like advanced recording controls and support for 4K 120fps video. The specs here are seriously impressive. Now that we've explored the phone itself, let's move on to the real highlight, the photographer's kit. We'll go through each accessory one by one. First, the main body of the kit has a half silver finish. It might look metallic, but it's actually made of lightweight plastic with a soft flocked interior for protection, so it doesn't add much extra weight. When you lay out all the components together, the experience really feels like setting up a camera system, almost like heading out with one body and two lenses. And for those who haven't used a DSLR before, this setup, combining the phone, protective case, and grip, essentially forms the core structure of what you'd expect from a traditional camera system. These two here are lenses with different focal lengths, and they connect to the DSLR style setup using metal adapters. You also get adapters in multiple sizes to fit different configurations. Alongside that, there are two extra sets of front and rear lens caps for protection, plus a lanyard included in the kit. Then we have the lens mount. For anyone new to photography, this might seem a bit unnecessary at first, but it's actually essential. When you're shooting for long periods, especially with extended lenses, stability becomes critical. Since the connection between the lens and the camera body is relatively narrow, you need proper support. That's where the mount comes in. It allows you to secure everything onto a tripod for steady, long-duration shooting. The mount itself is made entirely of metal and feels very premium, using a universal interface that works with standard tripods. So yes, Vivo is clearly serious about turning this into a true V-SLR experience. Lastly, there's a high-quality carrying strap. From the braided rope to the buckles and metal hardware, everything feels extremely well crafted. It's not surprising though, since this kit is co-developed with PGI Tech, a well-known brand in camera accessories. Now let's talk about imaging performance. Last year's X200 Ultra already introduced the idea of a V-SLR with its basketball court demo, and this year the X300 Ultra pushes things even further with its large sensor camera system. So just how powerful is it? Let's check out some sample shots. Keep in mind, all of these photos are straight out of the camera, no editing at all, and they use the newly upgraded texture style. By default, the images have slightly higher contrast and some built-in highlight protection. You'll also notice a bit of vignetting, which is part of one of the filter styles we actually liked during testing. We also explored styles like light chasing, rich tone, and different color palettes. If you want a deeper dive into those, we covered them in detail in our X300S video. Now moving on to the hardware, the X300 Ultra brings a major upgrade to its main camera. It features the Zeiss Chronograph Lens 2 paired with a Sony 11112-inch ultra-large sensor, delivering 200 megapixel resolution along with SEEP 6.5 level stabilization. This makes it the first domestic ultra flagship to use a 200 megapixel sensor as its primary camera. To really understand its performance, we compared it directly with Samsung's high-resolution flagship camera. Starting with perspective, Vivo uses a 35mm equivalent focal length, which is considered a classic portrait focal length in SLR photography and closely matches the human eye. From the same shooting position, subjects appear more prominent and the composition feels tighter. This also gives Vivo an advantage in center sharpness. In terms of color, Vivo tends to render reds more vividly. When it comes to darker areas, both devices show a slight drop in edge sharpness, but overall, Vivo comes out slightly ahead. As for the other two lenses, their upgrades aren't as dramatic as the main camera. The telephoto lens uses a custom Samsung 200 megapixel sensor, while the ultra-wide camera remains similar to the previous generation. It does make you wonder if the next Ultra model will go all in with a triple 200 megapixel setup. There's also a new blueprint camera added featuring 12 channels and 5 megapixel megapixels resolution. Now let's look at real-world results, including comparisons with Samsung, Apple, and Xiaomi. Starting with the main camera, when shooting illuminated signs, Vivo, Apple, and Xiaomi all manage highlights quite well, with accurate colors. Samsung, however, struggles a bit with highlight overflow and even shows a slight purple tint. Text on road signs is also harder to read on Samsung, while Xiaomi shows similar issues with small text and some color inconsistencies. In this scenario, Apple and Vivo perform better overall. In outdoor shots, Vivo's images appear noticeably brighter, especially in shadow areas like building facades. The colors look very natural and close to what you see with your eyes. Center sharpness remains strong. Apple does a good job balancing shadows and detail, but Vivo lifts darker areas even more while still preserving fine details, giving it an edge among the four. Overall, in this set of samples, Vivo's performance really stands out compared to its competitors. Looking at telephoto shots, Vivo continues to deliver the most accurate color reproduction. Even subtle details like brick textures look natural and pleasing. When zooming into the center, both Vivo and Xiaomi clearly outperform the international models. Samsung's 3x lens, in particular, falls behind here. Switching to longer zoom, the 5x lens shows a big improvement in detail and is comparable to Apple's 4x. However, when compared to other domestic flagships, the gap becomes more noticeable. In another comparison using digital zoom, Vivo at 6.7x, 230mm, Samsung at 10x, 230mm, Apple at 8x, 200mm, and Xiaomi at 8.6x, 200mm, all are relying on digital zoom. When you zoom into the details, Samsung and Apple show visible noise, while Vivo and Xiaomi apply noise reduction algorithms. In Vivo's case, this results in sharper lines and clearer textures. Moving to the ultra-wide camera, Vivo currently leads the pack. The field of view across all four phones is quite similar. Samsung and Apple are around 13mm, while Vivo and Xiaomi are closer to 14mm. Looking at center detail, Vivo produces rich textures with noticeable sharpening. Edge performance is where things get more challenging. In the upper corners, Vivo maintains good quality, but in the lower corners, there's a more noticeable drop. In comparison, Apple and Samsung handle the lower edges better, while Xiaomi leans more on noise reduction, resulting in some softness. In another outdoor test, possibly due to the current firmware, Vivo tends to brighten the overall image, which looks visually appealing, but slightly shifts colors toward a pinkish tone. Finally, in night photography with the main camera, Samsung's exposure tends to be lower overall. Zooming into details like the butterfly-shaped lights, Xiaomi performs best thanks to its high dynamic range processing, clearly capturing each LED. Samsung does well too, but not quite as sharp as Xiaomi. Meanwhile, both Vivo and Apple show some overexposure in bright areas. When it comes to fine detail in darker regions, Samsung and Xiaomi have a slight advantage. Now let's move on to the telephoto samples. When it comes to the sky, both Vivo and Xiaomi handle it really nicely, while Samsung and Apple tend to show a slight gray or even purplish tone. Looking at the clock face area, Samsung and Xiaomi do a solid job controlling highlights, and the same goes for the lower highlight regions. However, if you pay attention, you'll notice some noise appearing in those areas on both Apple and Samsung devices. When we focus on darker regions, especially in terms of sharpness and fine detail, Vivo and Xiaomi clearly take the lead. Thanks to their larger sensors and higher resolution, they capture significantly more detail compared to the other two. Switching over to ultra-wide shots at night, Vivo once again shows a clear advantage. The center of the image holds the most detail, while Apple and Samsung lose some clarity. Xiaomi also performs quite well here, likely relying on its software processing to make up for some hardware limitations. Now let's talk about the teleconverters, because this is where things get really interesting. This time, Vivo didn't hold back. They've included two telephoto converters, one compact and one larger. The Zeiss G2 teleconverter is the smaller one we've already seen on the X300S. It's lightweight and works well for most everyday scenarios. The other one is the Zeiss G2 Ultra teleconverter, which is bigger and offers an equivalent focal length of 400mm. To keep things consistent, we shot at the same 400mm focal length using both converters, and also captured a set of images using the phone's built-in telephoto lens. At first glance, the results might look similar, but once you zoom in, the difference becomes obvious. The G2 Ultra produces much sharper details, especially noticeable on textures like walls compared to the other two. In darker conditions, stabilization also plays a big role. Without any teleconverter, the original camera tends to lose detail, and you can see the smoothing effect from the processing quite clearly. We also captured some shots using the G2 Ultra, and the results speak for themselves. That said, if your goal is just to take photos for social media, the phone's native camera is already more than capable. Next, let's briefly touch on flare performance across all 4 devices. For photography enthusiasts who want to push detail and image quality further using lenses, these kinds of professional add-ons can definitely make a difference. Now moving on to video. Vivo has been putting a lot of effort into video features over the past few years, and this time they've taken a big step forward with a completely redesigned shooting interface. There's now a Pro option in the bottom right corner of the video mode. Once you tap into it, you're greeted with a new interface that feels very similar to professional apps like Blackmagic Camera. All the parameters are highly adjustable and quite detailed, making it easy for users who are familiar with professional gear to fine-tune their settings quickly and accurately right on their phone. Simply put, it makes the whole experience much more convenient. We also recorded a short clip using the X300 Ultra so you can see the results for yourself. When comparing Vivo's video performance with Apple's, which one do you think does better? Now let's quickly check out gaming performance. Both devices are powered by flagship level processors. Under lighter loads, even after 30 minutes at extremely high frame rates, performance and temperature remained stable. As we pushed things further, the frame rate reached 144 FPS and stayed consistent, although the temperature did rise by around 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. For heavier testing, like the Ironman stress test, the average frame rate was 56.3 FPS over 30 minutes. It stayed stable for the first 20 minutes, but after that, frame drops started to appear and the temperature climbed to around 49 degrees Celsius. That said, the X300 Ultra is clearly built with professional imaging in mind, not gaming. If gaming is your main priority, this probably isn't the primary focus device for you. When it comes to charging, our test showed it reached 11% in just 5 minutes, 54% in 20 minutes, and 64% in 30 minutes. A full charge took about 54 minutes, while trickle charging extended it to 1 hour and 19 minutes. The peak charging power hit around 80 watts. For battery life, we ran 5 standard endurance tests and the phone finished with 56% remaining. This could be due to 2 reasons. The battery isn't extremely large and the current firmware is still a test version. We'll revisit this once the final retail software is available. So to wrap things up, this device is clearly aimed at users who want a single setup that can go anywhere and handle serious photography. These are typically people who are used to carrying DSLR cameras, finding smartphones a bit too simple, but still appreciating the convenience they offer. What Vivo has done here is combine those 2 worlds. The experience closely mimics professional camera usage, reducing the need to constantly switch between devices. The interface offers familiar focal lengths, and once everything is set up, it genuinely feels like using a compact professional camera. The software also allows for deep customization, making the whole system feel more refined and capable. Of course, like most professional gear, this kind of setup is still geared toward a more niche audience. And with that, we wrap up our unboxing and first look at Vivo's flagship for this year, the X300 Ultra. Don't forget to follow the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.